On behalf of the school management, Mrs. Joy Akintokun and some students of Orogun Grammar School appreciated GME for the philanthropist gesture. Among the educational materials presented to students included school bags, textbooks, and exercise books. Now, before I go, Oyo State Government is committed to the well-being of every resident. Let's join hands to take the state to greater heights. That ends the Oyo State News. Is packaged by Eniola Adeaga. I am Adebola Moibi. Thanks for listening. Good afternoon.
Ẹ káàsán o, ìròyìn ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ni mo mú wá fún yín. Bùnmi Elégbèdé lórúkọ mi. Àjọ tó rí sí ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ọba nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ti fọwọ́ sí àwọn ìlànà tí wọ́n lò fún ètò ìgbéga fún àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ìjọba. Àtẹ̀jáde tí àjọ náà fi síta ṣàlàyé pé àwọn ìwé ẹ̀rí tí òṣìṣẹ́ náà bá ní ọdún tí yóò gba ìgbéga náà tó sì tẹ̀lé ìlànà tó yẹ lásìkò tó ń gba ìmọ̀kún ìmọ̀ ni wọn yóò ṣe àmúlò rẹ̀ fún ètò ìgbéga rẹ̀ lẹ́nu iṣẹ́. Àtẹ̀jáde náà tún sọ pé gbogbo àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ tí wọ́n gbà sẹ́nu iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n wà láàrin ìpele keje sí ìkẹrìnlá tí wọ́n ní ìwé ẹ̀rí HND tàbí NCE tàbí àwọn tí ó farapẹ́ tí wọ́n ní ìwé ẹ̀rí ìmọ̀ ìjìnlẹ̀ àkọ́kọ́ tàbí èyí tó bá tún farapẹ́ làwọn náà yóò tẹ̀síwájú sí ìpele tó gbẹ̀yìn lórí àkàbà tí wọ́n wà pẹ̀lú àfikún pé kíkọjá ìpele náà ni yóò dá lórí bíbọ́ sí ìpele àkọ́ṣẹ́mọṣẹ́. Ilé aṣòfin ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ti fọwọ́ sí àbá òfin tó wà fún irọ́ ilé ẹjọ́ gíga ó ti sọ di òfin lẹ́yìn tí ilé kà fún ìgbà kẹta níbi ìjókòó ilé kà àbá òfin náà fún ìgbà kẹta lẹ́yìn tó tẹ́wọ́ gba àbá ti ìgbìmọ̀ ilé tó wà fún ẹ̀hónú aráàlú ètò ìdájọ́ àti ìṣèdájọ́ tí aṣòfin Ògúndáre tó ń ṣojú ẹkùn ìdìbò Ògo-Olúwa àti Sùúrùlérè nílé aṣòfin ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ jẹ́ alága rẹ̀. Àbá òfin yìí ló wà láti ṣe àtúnṣe sí òfin ilé ẹjọ́ gíga àti láti jẹ́ kí ìdájọ́ kó máa yá kánkán nípìnlẹ̀ yìí. Lẹ́yìn àtúngbéyẹ̀wò tó gbọgbọ́n tí ilé sì kà fún ìgbà mẹ́ta ní ilé aṣòfin ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ fọwọ́ sí àbá òfin náà tó sì di òfin. Àjọ kan tí kìí ṣe tìjọba tí orúkọ rẹ̀ ń jẹ́ Global Media Entertainment GME ti pín àwọn ohun èlò ìkẹ́kọ̀ọ́ fáwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ilé ẹ̀kọ́ girama Orogún nílùú Ìbàdàn. Àwọn aṣojú àjọ GME arábìnrin Hajara Azeez àti ọ̀gbẹ́ni Káyọ̀dé Amusan ṣàlàyé pé ètò náà ló jẹ́ ojú inú olùdásílẹ̀ àjọ náà láti kún àyàn ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ yìí lọ́wọ́ lágbọn ètò ẹ̀kọ́. Nígbà tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ lórúkọ àwọn aláṣẹ ilé ẹ̀kọ́ náà, arábìnrin Joy Akintokun àtàwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ kan nílé ẹ̀kọ́ náà mọrírì àjọ GME fún ọwọ́ rẹ̀ tó nà sí wọn. Lára ohun èlò ìkẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tí àjọ GME pín ní àpamọ́wọ́ tí wọ́n fi ń kó ìwé kíkà àti ìwé àjákọ. Kí n tó parí ìròyìn yìí, ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ti farajìn sí ìdẹ̀rùn àwọn èèyàn ìpínlẹ̀ yìí nítorí náà ẹ jẹ́ ká fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ pẹ̀lú ìjọba nínú àyàn rẹ̀. Ìròyìn ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ fún ti ọ̀sán yìí kò ní jù báyìí lọ. Bùnmi Elégbèdé ló ti ń ròyìn. Ẹ máa yáṣẹ́ o.
The city of Ibadan, the home of ancient warlords, in the pace-setter state, this is Oluyole FM 98.5 Ibadan.
Oluyole FM 98.5.
The city of Ibadan, warlords, in the pace-setter state, this is Oluyole FM 98.5 Ibadan.
It's very much on Oluyole 98.5 FM. 7 minutes gone past the hour of 3, and it's time for your program, Searchlights.
about TikTok video posted by National Youth Service Corps member serving in Lagos State, Uche Ugoamaye, #Raye, recently went viral, where she lamented the stench in Lagos, as well as the economic situation of the country. The video highlighted the rising cost of living, which has made life difficult for corps members, vis-a-vis the current NYSC allowance. The video has in the meantime generated serious comments and heightened discussion in various quarters, especially from the opposition political parties. This is also considering the fact that Raye alleged that she's been threatened by a staff of NYSC over her remarks. This video has further raised questions by netizens about the economic hardship being experienced in Nigeria and the freedom of speech and opinion. Searchlight this afternoon on Oluyole 98.5 FM. We are here discussing the topic, outburst of Raye, lessons and state of the law. My guest this afternoon is Comrade Abiodun Bamigboye, a human rights activist and well-respected public analyst. It's good to have you on the program, sir.
It's a pleasure being here, and I say good afternoon to every Nigerians that have been part of this, I'll call it an historic program.
Searchlight is our regular Thursday afternoon current affairs program, where we take a look at topical national and global issues. I am Adebola Muibi, your anchor. Now to business. Comrade, I believe you saw the viral video, or you've heard about it if you've not seen it, where the corps member #Raye made a comment on the country's economy. I want to ask, what is your stake on this?
Well, unfortunately, I have not taken my time to watch the video, but of course I've I think accidentally stumbled on a radio program, okay, where the issue itself was being presented for a public discourse. And I think from what I heard, I don't think the lady have said what is unusual, because she actually gave an adequate history of the current economic crisis, that is bedeviling the country at this mature point in time. And to me, as a Nigerian, he doesn't need to go and seek for permission from anybody before she expressed her view as she has done. And I think she has to be commended for that. Because why I'm saying this is that what that lady said was a product of frustration. This is someone who, before she came out to do that video, she might have been battling, within herself, with that trouble for over a long period of time. Something that if she has not been able to pour out her mind the way she did, the likelihood that she may even take the option of suicide is not something that can be ruled out. And I think it is on that basis that I strongly feel that the lady has the right, to say what she said, and she has not said something that is unusual, and she has not said something that is not true. But
Comrade, taking into cognizance the Article 8 of the NYSC called sworn to by all core members, where they are not supposed to grant interviews. Don't you think she has gone beyond what she's supposed to do?
Well, I'm not a lawyer.
Okay.
But to the best of my knowledge, I know that if there's any conflict between the law of the land, which is the constitution, and any sub-law that exists in the country, the law of the land, the constitution take, I've forgotten how the lawyer will say it. It take the superior, is the most superior law in the land. And what I'm saying is that before that lady became a core member, she is first and foremost a Nigerian, and as a Nigerian, she has the right, as has been stipulated in the constitution of the country, that has a right to freedom of expression, and that is what she has done. So if there's an auxiliary law, as you are rightly pointed out, that places a kind of restriction over what she can say, I think the question of that law remain inferior, to the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria. So if this matter now is taken to court of law, the lady is going, the Constitution of Nigeria will first and foremost, take the leading, I've forgotten the what the lawyers always, the English they always use to qualify it, because as long as the law of the NYC has a conflict with that of the constitution, the law, the constitution take the, it remains the superior.
But when we're talking about you taking an oath, because one thing I think I realize is that sworn oaths under this constitution, under this governance, means that you are abiding, right? And if a core member, while in camp, sworn to such acts, don't you think it's binding on her or him or her to adhere?
Is binding,
right?
But there's a conflict here, and what the law says is that when there's a conflict, between that law and the law of the land, which is the constitution take,
Precedent.
the precedent. That's the land. That's it. It is because is superior. The NYC law you made reference to now is inferior to the constitution, and moreover, when you look at the entire thing, the frustration expressed by that lady itself is an indictment on what we call the NYC itself, today. Because how can you, because when you look at all of the things that lady said, she could not survive, she's finding it difficult to buy this, to buy that. He talked about the electricity tariff, how it has been increasing virtually every month. He talks about how his income has not been able to take him home. He talks about how he has not been able, that he pays for security. These are basic things that should have been the responsibility of government in terms of providing for the citizen. So it shouldn't have, be the responsibility of the lady in question to even be providing security for herself. So all of those things showed clearly that the girl frustration has been expressed in the video was a clear manifestation of the failure of the Nigerian government and the Nigerian state to ensure that its citizens live, a good life.
But there are so many videos that came out later that was showing how she was enjoying herself in Lagos. And it's not only the federal government that she condemned, she also condemned the stench of Lagos, calling Lagos State a smelling place.
Is Lagos State not a smelling place? If you take your time to go to the neighborhood, go to Ajegunle, go to Agege, go to Mushi.
But I want you
when you just move away from the commercially viable area, the places where you see on the main road, just go into the neighborhood, you see how stinky Lagos is. And that is why when people are talking of someone transforming Lagos, I look at it and I raise a question, because when I'm saying that since the return of civil rule in 1999, I've not seen anything spectacular that has happened in Lagos. All that they claim they have done is nothing but deceit. The last person who attempted to transform Lagos was Jakonde. You asked, since the return of civil rule, starting from the regime of our president now, when he was the governor of Lagos State, Ahmed Tinubu, to Fashola, up to Ambode and the one that is there now. You ask them, how many schools did they even build in Lagos that made them to be transformer of Lagos? How many hospitals did they build? How many universities were they able to build?
But in every environment, in every country, there is always a part that is always left for the less privileged. We should also note that even outside the country, we have places that we see people that are, we call slums. And where you've just mentioned, Ajegunle, yes, it's a slum.
Agege too.
Agege is not a slum.
Because these are places I go to frequently, even starting from Ogba. It will shock you. Maybe they just repair that road now. The Ogba Wike office in Ogba. When you just shortly move away from that place, less than 10 meters away from that place, go and look at how deplorable that road has become. And that is the core of Lagos State. So when you have that kind of instances...
But we just heard that she has apologized to Lagosians.
Where?
Calling the place smelly.
Where? I don't know the Lagosians who are asking her to apologize. Because she has said what is obvious. I just told you now, go to this area, go to Salem. There can never be a better Lagosians than those who reside in Lagos Island. Isaleko. Recently, they just demolished residents building. People built under a pedestrian bridge in Isaleko. That's Lagos Island. So if you have a responsive and sensitive government in that state, would that have happened? Because it is the failure of government to make provision for shelter for the citizen that is forcing people to be building houses under pedestrian bridge in a place like Lagos Island. So there can never be a better Lagosians than those who reside in Lagos Island. And to me, that is even worse than Ajegunle in terms of deplorable nature of how people live in that area. So if there's anybody asking for apology, I don't think it should be those people who live in Shanty.
But I now believe that if she realizes that what she has said has gone beyond what she's supposed to say.
She could have said it under pressure, because that pressure, now is now saying that he should retract that information. That's a threat. That is a threat, because the question is that if he doesn't retract it, what happens?
Don't you think it depends on the tone before you can say it's a threat?
There's no way, there's no tone that can be attached to it before anybody know that is a threat. The question is that if you ask me, go and retract an information, and I refuse to do that, the question is that what next? That means they are not going to take it lightly with her if she refuses and fails to do that. So, and that is where you cannot separate that instruction, from threat in the first instance. So, for her to have been told that, you can be rest assured the other form of intimidation, other form of harassment that is not obvious to the public might have also, be unleashed on the lady. And this is a lady that, according to her, this is the first time she'll be, staying independently outside the control of her parent. Unlike people like us that we have been independent since the age of 17. There's nothing I say today in this country that I cannot stand by it. even in the face of intimidation and persecution, as the case may be.
Don't you think, just as what you said, that this is a first time of staying away from the guidelines of her parents, right?
Yeah.
Don't you think she has an hidden agenda?
There's no hidden agenda
to the video.
There's no hidden agenda. So if, as a Nigerian today, you bear out your mind, you want to tell me that there's an hidden agenda for you, it's not. The lady is just out of frustration, expressing, her mind, what she has been going through. And there's a lot of Nigerians that goes through that on daily basis. Do you know the number of people who commit suicide, who jump to a sea in Lagos there? At least virtually every month you have a report of either a lady or a man trying to jump into the river in Lagos. But for people to have come to this conclusion, they might have been battling within themselves, different battle, with all form of frustration they are going through. This country is frustrating because it's not. There can never be a better way to describe a country like this than frustration. When you wake up on daily basis without having a hope of what will be your fate for the day, it is terrible. And I've heard people saying that he called the president a terrible. Can there be a better adjective to use for the president who cannot guarantee an adequate security of life and property of his citizen?
But when you now consider the fact that serving as a core member is to some, you can either defy it to a period, you can either opt out due to age, though it is mandatory. Don't you think with what she has said, it's beyond hers? Yeah.
Nothing is beyond. These are an adult. She's an adult, and she's of voting age, meaning that she might have participated in the last election, and having participated in the election, and he found out that the outcome of that election has constituted a worse Nigerian for her. She has every right to pour out her mind, and she didn't just make an abstract statement. He gave an empirical analysis how he came to that conclusion, how has been what is the cost of living before this government came into existence, what is the cost of electricity before this government came into existence, what is the cost of petrol before this government came into existence, what is the cost of telecommunication tariff before this government came into existence. And he gave a critical analysis of it, that all of these costs has gone up beyond imagination under this regime. And he came to a conclusion that, in our own opinion, this president is the most terrible as far as the history of this concern is concerned. And I agree completely with that submission, because in my own analysis, no president has ever been terrible.
But don't you think,
as much as the one we are having currently in this country?
Don't you think this has gone beyond what we think that is more of a political, it has taken a political undertone, considering the fact that opposition parties are now siding with the lady and using that to condemn the present regime?
It's their choice. I never knew that lady from Adam, and I'm fully in support of what she said. And I know that some of members of our organization were with her the day she was to appear at NYC office in Lagos. So if you have some other political figure who have come out to speak against, the undemocratic approach of the NYC official to that lady's statement, it's their democratic choice. That does not mean that they are the one who sent, except if I've seen any political comments or any party or any organization or individuals who have come out that they were the one who sent her to go and say what she said.
You know, people will not do that.
If I'm the one, I would have come out to say it if truly, but in absence of such, we can't. I mean, I can't base my own comment on assumption that there could have been anybody who is saying that perhaps has also done that in the past. I'm a Trotsky. I have been a member of political organizations in this country, and I've never been part of that, so I couldn't have made that kind of assumption. But if there's any group making that assumption, that means they will have also played similar role in the past.
Based on what former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and the last presidential candidate Peter Obi said,
including Oluyole Sowore, yes,
said about the girl's video. That's what made me to ask that. Don't you think it has gone beyond what we think that is just a viral video?
It is a democratic right of those ones who have, commented. They have that right to do so. But the reality is that if there's anybody to be blamed for the video, for the comments that have trailed it, it is the condition of hardship and mystery that this regime has created for mass of all of us as citizens of this country. Because the question is that if the girl is not hungry, if she's not going through hardship, she wouldn't have come out and said it. And if she has said this maybe 3-4 years ago, before the inception of this regime, many Nigerians will have come out and said you are lying. She said that the price of a crate of egg is 6,500 naira. Is that not true? It's even higher than that in many parts of this country. So what has the lady said that is not true? So as long as what she said is a statement of fact, I don't think, attributing it, to anything is the best way to go.
I think, don't you think it's looking at what she said, considering that the cost of this, the price of this has gone beyond her reach. Looking at the recent increase in the allowances of NYSC, adding it to up to 77,000 naira. Could it be because of this that she had made this video, that because they've not been paid yet?
That's another angle to it, because I don't see any government that mean well for its citizen. Not to have be able up to this point to have implemented what he promised for the NYC core member. But it's quite even unfortunate that the NYC core member are not the only victim. Even the federal workers have not even begin to enjoy the implementation of the 70,000 minimum wage. And I don't know, despite the fact that the federal government sat with the leadership of Labour and they agree on the consequential adjustment of this minimum wage, how it's going to affect various grades in public service. As we speak, the federal government has not commenced implementation. What they claim to be implementation is just 40,000 addition to the salary received by workers under the federal establishment. That is a deceit, and all of this is even enough to constitute a frustration that could have pushed anybody to voice out the same way that lady voiced out. So that's why I said that if there's anybody to be blamed, whether for the video, for the comments after it, it should be the federal government that has failed in its responsibility in ensuring that its citizens, live a very good, life.
So now, don't you think that this act of Rayi will make core members serving in any state of the federation be insult government at will?
There's an adage in Yoruba that when you are an old man and you go and look for a rope and look for a corn and tie it on your waist, you turn yourself to a laughing stock, before the chicken and hen in your neighborhood, because chicken are always love to attempt to to eat corn whenever they see any. So when an old man now turn corn in his or her waist, you turn yourself to a laughing because all the chicken in your neighborhood will be running after you whenever you move in the neighborhood. So that is what this government has called for itself. If the core member in different part of the country now begin to speak against the government, it is a consequence of what the government has caused for itself. Because if the government has implemented, a pay rise for core member, because they are also Nigerians, they also deserve to live a good life. The cost of electricity, cost of rising cost of goods and services also affect them. And these are some of the measures the government claim they put in place in order to mitigate the effect of all of its anti-people policies. So why are you now finding it difficult to implement a pattern of 77,000 pay rise for this for core member? If you have done that, there wouldn't have been all of this. So if government is interested in ensuring that core member henceforth don't speak against government, they should begin to implement policies, programs that will uplift the living conditions of the core member themselves. I think to me that's the best way about it. No amount of intimidation or harassment or threat by NYC staff or official can prevent people to speak. During my time as an NYC member in Akwa Ibom, I spoke. I was also given extension because I granted an interview as a core member on television at that time, and I spoke against all of the anti-people policies government at that time was unleashing on mass of Nigerian working people. They saw it, they queried me, I responded to it, and they gave me an extension. And till today, and I did regret what I did, and I'm happy the lady has also attempted something. Generation yet to born, we always try. You can't be beating a child and you expect that child not to cry, or you want to tell the child or teach the child how to cry. It's an impossibility. It can never happen.
So in a nutshell, what you're trying to say is that what Raya did is commendable, but have you forgotten that antecedents make others to do beyond what they're supposed to do?
Well, the life is also about progression, and that is why I've advised the federal government, because what I did during my time, it wasn't on the national scale as that of Raye now, but the Raye owner has taken a national outlook, and that means that the scale of our own is far more than that of mine. And if the federal government did not take caution from that and begins to treat not only the core member, his citizen well, they should also be expecting more of such to happen in the country. Like I said, you can't beat a child and you expect such a child not to cry. There's no magic you can use. If it works now, it's only going to be for a while. It's a question of time. There will be an eruption.
But I asked a question earlier. I said, don't you think she has an hidden agenda? Because some school of thought believe that what she did was just to bring herself out to either Amnesty International, civil organizations to fight for her so that she can ask for asylum outside the country.
She's in the best position to say that, but the truth of the matter is that whatever is the motive behind that message, but the truth of the matter is that you can't fault that message. I've not seen any Nigerian who have come out to say this your message was not true, that in my area a pump price is 200 naira. I've not seen any Nigerian who have come out to tell me that electricity tariff has not been increased, severally in the last 1 year. I've not seen any Nigerians who have come out to say that a crate of egg is not as high as the lady claimed in her video. So whatever is the motive behind it, I think the government is first and foremost responsible for that motive. Because if government has not failed in its responsibility, Raye wouldn't have come out. Even if he has come out, Nigerians will have, kicked against whatever she said if it were not true. But to the best of my knowledge, everything she said, none seemed to be false. All are nothing but the truth. And for those who think that he went far by saying the president is terrible, and I've said it and I will still repeat it here, that I've never seen a terrible president as a citizen as the one we are having currently. He has not been able to resolve any of the single problem Nigerians are facing before the inception of its administration. Instead, he has compounded our problem from economy to social. Look at what is happening in Rivers State now. The intervention of federal government has even worsened the matter. Now you are now having the South governor coming out to say that they are opposing the emergency. You now have Fabara forcefully going to take up, House of Assembly, and you have sole administrator. So there's nothing this president have done that has not constituted a worse problem for Nigerian people. So there can never be a better way to describe such a president than a terrible president.
And not deviating from what we are discussing, we are discussing the viral video of #Raye, a core member who lamented the stench in Lagos as well as the economic situation of the country. So if you're just joining us, you're still welcome. I want to say something. The choice of words we use in passing messages or complaints to the populace, don't you think we need to check how we speak or control the words we bring out?
You know, when you are hungry, the tendency that one is beyond angry is there. And an angry person can never be 100% of his or her senses. So if a government, and that is why in a salient crimes, food, shelter, they make it a priority for their citizens. I was one time in a city in Germany, and we went to a restaurant. By the time we were served appetizer that came with a bottle of Coke. In short, by the time they brought menu for us to pick what we want to buy, I have to be asking the German friends who took me to the restaurant that haven't we eaten? And that is how much importance they place on the food for their citizens. So when you have a country or a government that doesn't care whether the citizen eats or not, such a government should also be prepared to also bear the consequence of such an action.
Thank you so much, Comrade Abiodun Bamiboye, for coming on the program today. And you've heard it all from my guest today. So with this, we thank you for joining us, and we hope you join us next week for another issue that will be tackled on this program, Searchlight. Thank you once again, and have a good evening. My name is Ruins Adebola Moibe. Thank you.
wa ní Cowrywise. A jẹ́ olùṣàkóso ọ̀rọ̀ fún gbogbo ọmọ Nàìjíríà. A ní iṣẹ́ kan ṣoṣo. Òun náà ní láti ṣe ìrànlọ́wọ́ fún wọn bí owó rẹ̀ ṣe máa gbèrú sí i. Ohun tí ó dára ni pé tí o bá ṣiṣẹ́ takuntakun fún owó rẹ̀, ó yẹ kí owó rẹ̀ náà ṣiṣẹ́ takuntakun fún ọ. Gbogbo ohun tí o nílò ní fóònù alágbèéká láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìfowópamọ́ fún ọjọ́ iwájú rẹ lónìí. Forúkọsílẹ̀ lórí www.cowrywise.com láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìfowópamọ́ àti ìdókòwò lónìí.
Attention.
Ekaso, níbi gbogbo tí ẹ ti ń gbọ́ ìkànnì Oluyole 98.5 FM. A very good afternoon to you. Please listen to this announcement. Hooray! Grandma is 78. Happy birthday to our loving mother and grandmother, Alaja Mrs. Moturayo Adukelawal, also known as Iyasaka. You are a precious and loving mother. Your care and affection is enormous and knows no bounds. Every day your love shares and brightens up our day. Every March 20th is your day, and I wish you long life and prosperity in sound health and happiness. Iyasaka, Emma pe, bimokpe sheunpe, e o fi owo payewu, e o fi erigi je obe. Ọdọọdún là ń rórógbó, ọdọọdún là ń ráwùsà, ọdọọdún là ń rọmọ òbí lórí àtẹ. Ẹ ò ní fi ọdún yìí ṣe àṣemọ o. Àmín. Olùkéde Aishat Ọládẹjọ Lawal.
Attention, Oyo State students shortlisted for the Bursary Award. If you were unable to complete your screening,